Mo's father couldn't believe that the person who had saved his daughter was a young teen. He learned that this teen was from Shrek Academy. He rushed there after hearing the news, wanting to thank his daughter's savior, but the teen had already run off. He entered a building where Wu was waiting for him. He asked him if Tang Wulin had left. Mo's father asked if he was from Shrek Academy. He told him that he too was looking for Tang Wulin, and that he had been restrained earlier, but then he disappeared. Mo's father was intimidated by Wu's sternness. Wu told him that he was Tang Wulin's teacher. Wu had specifically chosen to tail Tang Wulin. He wanted to personally watch just how Tang Wulin would tackle each problem. Because of what happened on the train, he lost track of him. He then decided to leave, but sensed that someone was spying on them. He told the stranger to come out. A masked man appeared. He told them that he was looking for the kid who had foiled their plans, but he never expected to run into an administrator. He added that he might as well kill them while he was there and take the administrator with him. That way, it would be easier for him to achieve his goal. Wu realized that he was an evil soul master, so he attacked him, but it was of no use. The evil soul master started to surround them with a cloud of dark green smoke. He thought they had no way of escaping his attack, but Wu proved him wrong by using his frost scar and escaping to the roof. The evil soul master dug a tunnel and ran away. Wu and Mo's father were spotted by mechas. Mo's father stopped them from attacking Wu. At the Blacksmiths Association, Tang Wulin was having problems getting missions. He asked the guy at the counter to look him up in the database, expressing certainty that he would be found there as a 5th-rank blacksmith. He insisted that he was absolutely certain he was in the database. Upon hearing that he was a 5th-rank blacksmith, everyone there laughed. A guy asked him how old he was. He told him that he was 14. Now the people were even more convinced that he was lying. Then suddenly, an announcement was made that the president would be holding a half-hour lecture in the hall on the 1st floor in 5 minutes. Everyone got excited and ran towards the hall. Tang Wulin also decided to check it out. He caught up to the receptionist and asked if the president gave lectures often. The receptionist explained that the president lectured at random times, so it was very rare to meet him. Attending a single one of the president's lectures was worth a year of blacksmithing by oneself. Tang Wulin was intrigued. The receptionist continued, expressing that since Tang Wulin loved blacksmithing, this was an amazing opportunity. The president was not just the president of this branch, but of the Blacksmiths Association as a whole. He was also the continent's only divine blacksmith, and a very busy person. If he took the time out of his schedule to give a lecture, it was incredibly valuable. Tang Wulin was really lucky. He was amazed to hear that the president was a divine blacksmith. A lot of people were present in the hall, and they were all chanting "President." The president then arrived. Everyone got even more excited. The president's name was Manhua. He was the continent's only divine blacksmith. 8 years ago, he advanced step by step until he completed 1,000 refinings and became the continent's only divine blacksmith. He succeeded in forging true forward battle armor and held an exceptionally influential position. Tang Wulin would have been fortunate to learn even the tiniest thing from him. Jen mentioned that this was a little trick for alloy forging discovered not too long ago. That technique could lower the difficulty of forging alloys. He asked them what they thought after hearing that. Tang Wulin called him amazing and clapped for him. He asked if he understood his lecture. Tang Wulin said yes and asked if he could try. Jen agreed. Tang Wulin asked for some heavy silver star iron, a universal catalyst, and the sky moon powder. He was provided with all of that. He then asked for one more thing, his hammers. The people present there didn't seem to like that idea, but he agreed. Tang Wulin was amazed by his hammers because they were spirit refined. He told him that he had forged those hammers 15 years prior and had been using them ever since. He added that if he managed to forge an alloy, he would give him the hammer as a gift. This made him happy. He thanked him. Then Tang Wulin started forging. He struck the metal. Everyone was amazed. Jen thought Tang Wulin might be a promising successor. After the first hammer fell, he knew to observe the state of heavy silver and converse with the metal. Moreover, he was listening to the voice of the hammer. The pair of hammers had a shock effect which could remove impurities in the metal. Everyone in the hall couldn't believe their eyes. To them, this all seemed impossible. Then the two pieces of metal fused. A projection of a golden dragon came out of the metal. Tang Wulin had succeeded in forging the alloy. Jen was impressed. He asked him who his teacher was and how old he was. Tang Wulin had accidentally revealed himself. Seeing no other option, he told him that his teacher was Mu Chen and that he was 14. When Jen heard that he was, in fact, Mu Chen's disciple, he was beyond enraged. He called Mu. Mu wondered why he was calling him all of a sudden. Jen just started shouting at him. Mu was confused. Jen accused him of deliberately sending his disciple to him to stir up some trouble. Mu already knew what he was about to say, so he refused in advance. Jen wasn't ready to give up. Mu told him that he already knew all about his tricks. Jen brought up that they used to be fellow apprentices. Mu told him that had nothing to do with their current matter. Jen brought up their past and how Mu got married to Yuan Bao. He told him that he didn't want a disciple, but a son who would look after him as he aged. Slowly, Mu's heart started to melt. But before he could fall for Jen's trick, his wife interfered. She asked Jen if he was crying. Jen was happy to hear her voice. She asked him if she should kick Mu Chen to the curb and come to him. Jen told her he couldn't do something like that because he and Mu Chen were like brothers. So she shouted at him and told him not to call if he had nothing to say. Mu asked her if she was feeling all right because she was acting unusually. She told him that she was fine. She explained that she was just warning Jen not to use what happened back then to threaten him. She had kept it a secret for many years for Jen's sake, but it seemed he didn't care about saving his face. Mu asked what she meant and what secret she was referring to. She revealed that Jen had not fearlessly chosen to devote himself to blacksmithing back then. Instead, Jen was cunning and had asked her to marry him at that time. She told him she liked Mu, and after that, Jen went into seclusion. She hadn't mentioned any of this before to spare Jen the embarrassment. Mu asked how she refused his proposal. She told him that she called him brother. At the association, Tang Wulin was heading towards the dining hall. He really appreciated all the things Jen did for him. In his heart, he was sorry to Mu because he revealed his identity. He arrived at the dining hall and was amazed by the food. He thought that this kind of rice was grown in the north of the continent and could only be harvested once every 3 years. The yield was really low, making it very valuable. The moonlight rice was sweet in the mouth, and when it was combined with the land dragon tendon, there was no word to describe its taste. He felt really lucky. He asked the chef for more food. The chef was surprised by his abnormally large appetite. He told him that there was no food left, but Tang Wulin was still hungry. The chef appreciated his liking of the food, so he told him to wait while he got him something else to eat. Tang Wulin was excited. While this was happening, Jen arrived at the dining hall. He asked him if he was done eating. He lied and told him that he had called his teacher to tell him that he had come there and that he had told him to take care of him. He asked if he was interested in getting some pointers the next time he visited. Tang Wulin was interested. Then the chef arrived with a tray of ruby shrimp. Jen asked why he had brought out the ruby shrimp because it was usually for special occasions. He told him that he had done this because Tang Wulin truly appreciated his food. Tang Wulin noted that the relationship between Jen and the chef was unusual. He didn't feel any soul power from the chef's body. The chef offered Tang Wulin the ruby shrimp. He was sure that he would be able to handle eating 3 of them. Tang Wulin thanked him. He had never heard of the dish before. He removed the shell, and after just 1 bite, he was transported to another world. The flavor was beyond amazing. He immediately digested the food. A golden light came out of his belly. Jen and the chef were amazed. Jen asked the chef if Tang Wulin had really digested the ruby shrimp, because it usually took a whole year to digest it. The chef also didn't seem to understand. He thought that he was amazing. Jen agreed. He told him that he was from Shrek Academy. When the chef heard the words Shrek Academy, his mood quickly changed. He told Jen that if he had known earlier that Tang Wulin was from Shrek Academy, he would have never offered him the shrimp. Tang Wulin thanked the chef and complimented his food. The chef told him that if he wanted to take him as his master, he would get to eat food like that every day, but he would have to leave Shrek Academy. Tang Wulin knew that if he ate such quality food every day, his cultivation would progress by leaps and bounds, but leaving Shrek Academy was too unrealistic for him, so he declined the offer. The chef expected this response, so he left. Tang Wulin asked Jen if the chef was angry. Jen said the chef was not angry, just aware he had no hope. People from Shrek weren't fools. They wouldn't let a talent like Tang Wulin graduate from the outer court. Tang Wulin was definitely bound for the inner court. The chef knew he didn't stand a chance, so there was no point in staying. Tang Wulin asked who the chef was. Jen explained that he was just an eccentric guy and that he was his only friend. Jen wasn't sure if Tang Wulin would ever meet him again, but mentioned that the chef didn't have a good relationship with Shrek Academy. It was better not to meet him again. Jen took Tang Wulin to a spatial door. He told him that he had arranged an opponent for him who was waiting for him behind the door. Tang Wulin thanked him. They entered the door, and on the other side, the association's guardian, Ji Yinling, was standing. Tang Wulin introduced himself, and in a few seconds he managed to defeat him. Zi was confused. He tried to make excuses for why he lost by saying he was holding back, but Jen knew that Tang Wulin was the one who was actually holding back. Jen mentioned to him that he never would have thought he would be so strong. Since this was the case, he didn't recommend Tang Wulin take him up on his offer. He suggested waiting until he was 20, and if he still didn't have 5 rings, then he would suggest the route he had presented. Jen explained that his soul power was very strong, but it was impossible to heavenly refine without becoming a titled Duluo. Tang Wulin understood. Jen gave him a card and a ring, explaining that the card contained 1 million federal credits, which was enough for the rest of his trip. The ring stored 18 different types of valuable metals and over a dozen bottles of the alloy forging catalyst that Jen had refined. He thanked him. Jen told him that he wouldn't see him out, so he could use the back door to leave. Tang Wulin agreed and said goodbye. Outside, Tang Wulin saw Wu. He tried to hide the ring because he thought Wu was there to take it. Wu informed him that he would be following him closely until the end of the exam and advised him to proceed without minding his presence. Tang Wulin questioned if Wu was supposed to be watching from the shadows. Wu explained that an evil soul master had appeared and that the terrorist attack Tang Wulin had foiled was arranged by the same person. The academy had dispatched more teachers to protect the examinees, and Wu expressed hope that they would successfully complete the final exam. He stated that he would be watching over them personally, and due to the limited number of teachers, they would need to act as a group. Then he pointed Tang Wulin to his team. They were all happy to see him. Li Ji could smell that Tang Wulin had eaten something good, so he asked him. Tang Wulin told him that he had eaten ruby shrimp. Li Ji asked if it was the ruby shrimp from the blood trench. He explained that all soul devices malfunction near the blood trench because of its bizarre magnetic field. The trench was also several kilometers deep and teeming with soul beasts. It was known as one of the world's forbidden areas. To catch ruby shrimp, soul masters needed to dive into the trench and catch them with their bare hands. Even forward battle armor masters had trouble retrieving them. Li Ji asked who had given him the shrimp because he also wanted to try it. He told him that Jen's friend had given him the shrimp and that there were none left. Tang Wulin asked them if they had thought of somewhere they should go to find opponents. Gu Yue suggested they go to the Spirit Pagoda. Tang Wulin agreed, noting that there were many soul masters at the Spirit Pagoda, making it a perfect place to find opponents. At the Spirit Pagoda, a man informed Gu Yue that he had passed on her request to the rest of the staff, but it would break too many rules. He explained that as an organization serving soul masters, they couldn't just ask visitors to have a match. Gu Yue inquired if there was any other way. The man replied that he had asked the higher-ups, but it was impossible. The Heavenly Phoenix Duluo had called and said she had to handle this herself, and they were not to lend her any help. Gu Yue understood. Outside, Tang Wulin reassured her that it was fine and they would just find another way. He suggested that if they couldn't, they could go to the Blacksmiths Association, where he was sure his Uncle Master would help them. Gu Yue responded that it would be too inconvenient and take too much time, and mentioned that she had a plan. Xinglan knew exactly what she was thinking. Tang Wulin thought that was creepy. Outside of the city's Spirit Pagoda, a man was walking by. He was really happy because he had gotten the spirit soul that was suitable for him, and after the fusion it seemed he was much stronger. He thought he was very lucky because now he was a true 5-ring soul king and would have a chance to promote himself. Suddenly he was stopped by the team. They told him that if he wanted to pass, he would have to defeat them. The man was confused. They claimed that the road was theirs, and if he wanted to cross safely, he would have to pay. The man was still confused. He told them not to mess with him, but then the team attacked. Xinglan attacked him from behind. He put up a shield and easily stopped her attack. Gu Yue attacked him with ice spikes. The man was amazed by them, but he was still confident in his abilities. Gu Yue continued attacking. His water curtain shield sank. The water element he had released was sucked away. He was now trapped in ice chains. Gu Yue got mad at Tang Wulin because he interfered in the fight. The man was really frustrated. Tang Wulin apologized to him and explained the reason they had attacked. After that, the man took a sigh of relief and left. Tang Wulin wasn't happy with what they were doing, but Gu Yue thought that it was okay because, in the end, they had beaten him quickly. Tang Wulin remarked that since Teacher Wu hadn't told them to stop, it was still not enough. Gu Yue, with a smirk on her face, suggested proceeding. She pointed out that if they made a fuss like that, the Spirit Transmission Tower's judicial squad would be on their way shortly. She added that ordinary judicial squad members had power in the 4 rings and were outfitted with mecha armor, with patrols usually consisting of 3 people per group. Tang Wulin was surprised by how thoroughly she had planned everything. He was nervous. Then, as Gu Yue said, the tower's judicial squad arrived. One of them even had a purple mecha. They asked who was responsible for all the ruckus. Xinglan blamed everything on Tang Wulin. Seeing no other option, Tang Wulin decided to beg them not to arrest him. The guy in the purple mecha stated that the Spirit Transmission Tower's majesty could not be insulted and the rules were unyielding, so Tang Wulin had to follow him. He reassured Tang Wulin that if he was truthful, he would be forgiven, and that when his parents came to pick him up, they wouldn't hold it against him too much. Tang Wulin asked what he meant by not too much. The guy in the purple mecha replied that Tang Wulin would be just a little fined. Tang Wulin wasn't ready to give even a single penny. He told him that he would rather die than give him money, and he ran. The judicial squad was now frustrated. The guy in the purple mecha went after Tang Wulin. The others saw the opportunity, so they decided to attack the 2 remaining. Xinglan attacked one from behind. Gu Yue used her powers to attack the others. Xinglan managed to land a good hit. Gu Yue, with the help of Xie Si, managed to land a few hits on the other mecha.